very quickly, I'm Perera, CEO of Vizibl. Also founded a company called Procurement Leaders 14, 15 years ago from my spare room, and helped scale that up. So know a little bit about procurement, but also studied biology at university, and got 2 kids of my own, coming to both teenage years. So I guess as I get into my middle age, I start caring more about the kind of the world we leave our kids in as well. So yeah, procurement and purpose, our future, our legacy is the presentation here, and I won't take too long on this. In parallel to my job at Vizibl, running the team and working with the great engineers and everyone else there, I also been working with Peter Smith on the Procurement with Purpose movement. So we're writing a book on this. I'm looking forward to kind of reflecting back in 10 years around procurement and purpose in this movement, and really see if we can help a few organizations take or accelerate their kind of programs around kind of purposeful programs. We're also launching a podcast, so watch out for that. But fascinating to have the opportunity to make hopefully a little bit of an impact. So what is procurement and purpose, and why should you care? I think you've seen it now, and maybe COVID has amplified this more. There is a move for organizations to think about a wider stakeholder group. Rather than just investors, they're now thinking about the consumers, the governments, their employees, their suppliers. And it's changing the dynamic of organizations. In New York, at the end of last year, they had a big group of CEOs talking about this wider impact that they had to look at. So this is not just share price, it's the positive impact they need to change their organizations Some of that has been driven by consumer behavior. So, I think the new generations care more about the impact of the brands that they buy and what type of, are they good companies? And we're seeing about the negative side of that. On the investor side, we're also seeing the rise of ESG, so environmental, social, and governance. So now pension funds are looking at their portfolio of companies of where they're putting their money, and they're looking for good, profitable organizations who also have good ESG ratings. If you don't know anything about ESG ratings, then I would go and look at your company on Yahoo. You can see the scoring there. Or I was going through the pharma companies this morning ahead of this session and seeing how many pharma companies were in the top. I think Amgen are the only pharma company in the top 50 of the ESG ratings there as well. So this is looking at your environmental impact, the social side and the governance side of how you have the positive impact. And we will see change of behavior, unfortunately, not just by consumer behavior and or the desire of the board to be a better organization, but also because their investors are now showing that you need to be a good company if they're going to invest in there. Because if you're a bad company, you're probably going to have bad press, and that's not good for the share price. But if it drives the right behavior for companies to look at a wider stakeholder group, then great. So what do we need to mean about procurement with purpose? I mean, again, this looks across 3 different areas of social impact, of positive impact. That's the social side, environmental, which I guess in a lot of industries have been going on for a while, and also the economic impact of those as well. All of these super relevant today with COVID, but also as we look forward in terms of sustainability agendas and all these lovely Davos commitments that companies look at. So if we look at social, this can go to modern slavery and human rights. Environmental, again, a little bit more off the tip of the tongue in terms of sustainability of resources, pollution, obsolescence of products, and circular economy, which is fascinating. But then economic, the fair employment, promoting economic growth around some of those places where you're sourcing your supply from, and regenerating these sites rather than just taking, are all really important to organizations as they look to improve their positive impact in the world. Again, we can go into these a little bit more and kind of relating to where procurement can do that. But when 50 to 80% of your spend goes externally, and we look at what sustainability was in the past, there's only a certain amount you can do within your 4 walls with your employees and what you do there. the real impact is through your supply chain and your supplier base. So these are the things that we're seeing companies move towards. I guess it's balancing them across in terms of the social impact. We're going to see this through jobs, especially with suppliers going under now, and salaries around the world, sustaining those parts and having the positive message. But I'll share these slides to the people here. Again, if you go to Procurement with Purpose, you can see the detail around these as well. I'd say other industries are ahead of the pharma world. Dave Ingram is the CPO of Unilever. And a really nice quote from one of the interviews we did with him recently, that this goes beyond just the savings and doing your profession, but the responsibility of an individual in the way that they make a positive impact on the world. So when you go to bed or when you're retired and you're sitting there with your kids, if you can have that positive side coming through and also give a benefit to your organization, is critical as well. That transition from what FMCG do, which is very consumer driven, is coming into pharma as well. So, the Davos statements that were probably more FMCG and consumer led in the past are now coming from the likes of Pascal at AstraZeneca. A similar content, what did you do to make the world a better place for employees when you talk to your grandson? It's coming through. I think they've gone for a renewable energies target and carbon target as well by 2025 as well. So it's coming to the pharma world. We're seeing that through the environmental and again the social sides, and obviously with the cost of drugs. I think there's a big part that pharma companies will be looking at on how they become a positive impact in terms of the economic impact of getting their drugs around the world as well. And I think COVID's going to be an interesting test for society as a whole, and especially pharma on that side as well. Also, I think that I mentioned earlier about this correlation between sustainable supply chains and resilient supply chains. The focus at the moment is around a resilient supply chain, or resilience as a whole. But a resilient supply chain is only as good as it can be as you manage it today. I think speaking in with Thomas Uderson, who's the CPO of Bayer, his point was sustainable supply chains. That's going to give you that long-term resilience in the organization. If you have a sustainable one, looking at all these elements, it'll give you that long-term resilience. And again, we've been so efficient, the product lines and the demand that we have with suppliers is so efficient in terms of the stock that we have, that we've lost any of that resilience in our supply chain, and we're going to have to look a little bit more about the medium to long term to achieve that. But I think we'll find this is where procurement are getting a lot of focus. There's never been so many column inches for procurement and supply chain than over the last kind of 4 or 5 months. This is the time for taking that resilience agenda and now taking it to the board and say, we need to drive the sustainability agenda to give us long-term resilience coming through as well. The other thing that we're seeing in COVID is collaboration and sustainability is the new norm. We're seeing a lot more collaboration within industries and cross industries around sustainability. Again, think about the resilience and how industries are coming together. James kind of mentioned some of that around COVID earlier. This collaboration is coming through. We're seeing it from procurement organizations and sustainability teams, but also CEOs to CEOs on how do they work to have this positive impact. So I think this is really important for organizations going forward on how that collaboration has come through. And I don't think sustainability is not a competitive advantage. I think this is, coming from the FMCG space, pharma, all the industries I'm talking about, they're open to this side. And, if you're procurement professional, sustainability, or looking at how you work with your suppliers, it's now looking at how do you collaborate on these things and bring that part into the whole value chain and supply chain going forward as well. And as companies are looking and making these decisions, I was speaking to Katharina at Danone, again, probably a couple of months ago, they're really building it into the DNA of their organization now about thinking about their buying choices and looking at the triangle of growth, productivity, and sustainability. So even on the innovation side, the growth agenda, taking new products to market, sometimes you have to pay a little bit more. If it's pure productivity, cost, and commercial, then you're going for the best price for hopefully a product that solves the day. But also, you may have to pay a bit more for sustainability on that side, and that is the balance we're coming up. It comes from the comments from Unilever, the comments from Pascal. We're going to have to start thinking about how we balance up the medium to long term for that positive impact. I think it gives purpose. It's been a fascinating journey for me of getting into procurement with purpose, working with Peter, interviewing amazing people from the sustainability side, from the procurement side, and C-level execs around how this is coming through. But this is also going to dominate the next 10 years, as well as the kind of collaboration side as well. So I would start looking at your suppliers. If you haven't already done it, make sure you've read the UN SDGs of your own organization. These are the key things that your company are standing for against the UN standards, and start mapping those against your suppliers. What are the same commitments that you've made against these things, and see how you can start working them against these agendas as well. Also start looking at your suppliers around their ESG rating. The advocates are bringing these suppliers in, and if they have a low ESG rating, that will have an impact on your own organization as well. So this will cause this lovely ripple effect to come through supply chains and ecosystems as well. So it's a fascinating world, and it's exciting to do. If you're interested in this, I started looking at Procurement of Purpose last year. I think there's maybe about 70 people following the hashtag. We've got several thousand people in there. There's a website called Procurement with Purpose as well. Look at that. Look at the content that's been created. There was a lovely video from one of the purchasing managers from Unilever last week, where she was talking about what her wants and desires were for Unilever to do a better job in how they were looking at the environment as well. So we're seeing the individual employees now asking their companies to take a stance on this. And I think we're seeing that with Black Lives Matter. We're seeing it with the sustainability and environmental side as well. So purpose is really going to drive it, and purpose-led organizations is clearly the way that industries are going as well.